years into the establishment of LEED, but I think we're at a threshold moment when we're looking for new ideas about how to advance the art and science of sustainable design. So I was really looking for new solutions that go beyond tried and true best practice strategies.
The things that I was hoping to see were some good energy innovations, some really interesting ways of trying to reduce the amount of load that you get within the space, reducing load of course being the biggest thing that you can do to reduce energy, and then just seeing if the way in which renewables is applied to projects has become more subtle or more considered.
I was looking for entries that were innovative, potentially creative, responsible, hopefully cost effective, and could be replicable so that others could learn from the projects that we recognized, both the clients and users and the architectural profession as well.
I think a big challenge was that there were a roster of very impressive, fabulous projects. And so when you're faced with that and need to begin to do the winnowing process down to a group of 10, it creates, I think, again, in a positive way, a sort of a sense of discipline. What are the strategies that really resonate and provide a sense of excellence and also a sense of future?
Considering both the aesthetic value, the cultural value of good design, the educational value of good design in the projects, while at the same time validating the different metrics involved in the jury process, the energy usage intensity, the water conservation, the impact on water and sewer services for the buildings, lighting, power density, the kind of the measurables, and comparing the measurable outcomes of the buildings with the somewhat immeasurable and just from a general kind of design excellence perspective.
The solutions that required the least amount of technology, that just took advantage of such things as orientation and proper use of sort of harvesting daylight, impressed me the most, because if we start there, that's the simplest. Then secondly, I think the area where I was most impressed was the amount of the approach to being responsible with regards to water.
I think in water we found that there was some real breakthroughs happening on the policy side through implementing systems that in a couple cases represented the first of on-site gray and black water systems for the places where they were installed, and of a scale and in a context and urban environment for which there are probably only a handful that exist in the United States. So I think there is a clear message that water is a frontier.
I felt that the level of renewable energy and kind of add-on equipment was much more sober in this year's applicants, or this year's winning entries at least, than I had witnessed in the past few years of the COTE award program. So the more subtle inclusion of photovoltaics, for instance, and the minimizing the visual presence of those on projects. Not so much effort at trying to kind of promote PV or other kinds of technology, but including it, but in a more sober, more not invisible necessarily, but a more subtle sort of way in the projects was pretty impressive.
The story we'd like to tell is that this kind of accomplishment can be done with almost any project type and or any budget. You're going to find some projects that were awarded that were very low in terms of the initial financial output and hopefully long-term operational output, to some projects where there were more funds. And we just felt it was really exemplary to see projects on each end of the financial construction aspects of the projects that perform very, very well.
And I think that sort of breaking the mold of green is expensive, it's exclusive, it's technically complicated, is now juxtaposed with a portfolio of 10 projects that I think cast a very different impression of affordability, availability, at many scales for all. And so Green for All, I think, is the message.